Hello students, this is SriRam Shastri. Once again, I welcome you back to my new video session on environmental studies. So the topic which we are going to discuss today is about environmental pollution. In this chapter, we are going to discuss about the different types of pollutions, its causes, its effects, and so on and so forth. It's a very simple topic, which is a burning topic, we can say, presently all over the world. This is a cause of tension, and it's also a point to be thought by every one of us to protect the nature and protect ourselves from the nature. So we'll start this topic presently with the main incidents which have destroyed the Earth's atmosphere and caused a major amount of pollutions. Okay, so few important what you call as series of particular events I have listed here. In which year they have occurred and what was the main tragedy in the event that is been mentioned on the board. You can just see the board and you can. So one by one I will start to explain these points in detail. So first thing you can see here, the pollution disasters what have occurred on this earth. Pollution disasters, different types of pollution disasters which have occurred on the surface earth. Okay, so first is what you call as London smog. What is a smog? If you talk about smog, is mixing of two important substances, that is smoke and fog. When smoke and fog mix together, they form smog. The percentage is around in the air atmosphere was around 1.3 parts per million. 1.3 parts per million was the percentage of it, and around 4,000 people died. Okay, in 1912, 4,000 people died. After that, once again in 1952, it had reoccurred where not so much people died, but again it was a huge number and huge environmental loss. So first event is London smog, which occurred in London, and it was a reaction of the industrial smoke with the what you call as fog, which forms in the winter. Fog and smoke forms a deadly combination called smog. Recently in our country, we are also facing this problem in India, that is in metro cities like Delhi, capital city. In winter seasons, we are facing a problem of smog. So high pollution and drop in the environment in winters causes formation of smog there. Now coming to it causes, what can be effects of this? There were major effects of this. Respiratory problems were there. Elderly people suffered a lot. Elderly, old aged people suffered a lot because of this London smog. Then second point, if you talk about Mediterranean Sea, where it's declared as a dead sea now. So in the Mediterranean region between the Europe and other countries, heavy what you call as pollution was seen. Dumping of the garbage, dumping of industrial effluents, and so many unwanted things. Whatever pollutions was produced in water, all those pollutants were released into this sea, which resulted in 1950 it raised such amount of pollutants of lead, cadmium, mercury, and other heavy metals and other non-metals. Heavy toxicity of minerals was seen in this sea, and it did not support any life form in 1952. Since 1952, no living forms are supposed to be living in the sea, so it has been declared as a dead sea because of extreme pollution of the water. Thirdly, if you talk about nuclear explosions, it's a very huge history of understanding about the nuclear explosions. Nuclear explosions in the World War II, the famous spots everybody knows, that is around 6 lakh people lost their lives. This is the only number of the people who lost their life. Apart from this, the people who are still living are suffering from various radioactive problems. The radioactivity still can be detected in the environment till today, and they cause genetic mutations. It releases highly what you call as dangerous radioactive radiations, which can mutate the genes, causing cancers and genetic problems, right? So in the World War II, in the place called Hiroshima and Nagasaki, two important cities of Japan, were destroyed by two nuclear explosions. That is, in one in Hiroshima, one in Nagasaki, and around the complete radius of those areas was exploded. There was a huge cloud of what you call as dust, huge radioactivity, which destroyed the lives of many numerous people in those old days. But again, it is an incident where radioactive pollution was being recorded as one of the deadliest. Then if we talk about the Minamata disease, again it's in Japan. Minamata Bay is a place in Japan. In this Minamata, what you call as Mercury Corporation or Mercury Company was there. Whatever what you call as the company was preparing mercury or doing some what you call as activity with the mercury, mercury got released into the industrial effluents into the water bodies, and surrounding water bodies were completely poisoned with mercury. The biomagnification took place. The mercury poisoned fishes were easily caught by the fishermen, and those people who consumed these fishes, it resulted in a disease. And because of the place called Minamata has an importance to has the as the origin of this disease, the disease is named as Minamata disease. Minamata disease originated in Minamata Bay of the Japan. Now, if we talk about Bhopal Gas Tragedy, it's one of the world's deadliest tragedy, which still is unanswered. But what you call as it's a very deadliest record of a tragedy in humankind because of an industrial carelessness. So, if we talk about Bhopal Gas Tragedy, we know it's in India, and it was it occurred in December 3, 1984, because of a gas leaked out into the environment called methyl isocyanate. It leaked out into the environment, and completely the area surrounding it completely was covered up with this gas, and it turned into a gas chamber. Many people died. Around 10,000 people died because of this. Thousands of them were having health problems, and thousands of them lost their eyes also. Many of them became blind. Many of them are still facing health issues, and those who died were around 10,000 people at a time. So in the midnight, this gas leaked into the environment, resulting in unknown death of the people in that particular area. Now, once again, if we talk about Chernobyl incident, Chernobyl is a place in USSR. Now it's different. Okay, so Chernobyl disaster is a nuclear disaster which occurred in Chernobyl. Chernobyl is a place in 1986 under USSR. This Chernobyl incident was in a nuclear plant. The nuclear plant, because of uncontrolled nuclear reactions, exploded rapidly with a huge mushroom cloud of smoke, dust, and radiations, and that was one of the world's famous disaster about nuclear power plant, and this resulted in deaths of 2,000 people. In this particular incident lost their lives. Still, many of them are facing radioactive problems, and around 60 square kilometers surrounding the area of that nuclear power plant was destroyed because of the radiations present in the environment. Then if we talk about the most deadliest hazard which we have seen in the world, that is hell on earth, we have almost seen hell on earth, was the Gulf War hazards. So between USA and Iraq, Iran, and so on and so forth, there were so many cities there, so many countries there. So the Gulf War, which started in 1991, around 1 lakh bombs were being used in this war. Continuously, 1 lakh bombs released a huge amount of smoke and pollutants, dust, etc. Around 700 oil wells were burnt, and continuously they were releasing the smoke into the atmosphere, causing global warming and so many changes in the environmental parameters. Climatical belts were changed, climatical activities were changed. A huge loss to the environment was done because of that. Even because of the smoke reacted with the water, the chemicals present in the gas reacted with the water, and during rains it resulted in acid rains also. Around 200 million gallons of oil was spilled into the marine habitat, which destroyed marine ecosystem. And also there was many such incidents like oil fire was there, smoke was there, oil spills were there. So by the end of the war, it was similar to see it as a hell on earth. Anyhow, these are some of the major events which are been mentioned in your syllabus in the first part of the topic called environmental pollutions. These major events, their years, and what number of people were killed, and what was the major climatical effect of these incidents, you can remember. In the next video session, we'll continue with the pollutions of different uh, what do you call as factors like air pollution, water pollution, and so on and so forth. We'll discuss about the causes and how can we control the pollution. For today, we'll stop this video here itself. Thank you.